Hi, this is Jaquay House with How to Pass the PMP Exam.com. Thank you for joining me. I am a certified project management professional. I practice IT project management for a large global Fortune 500 company, and I'm just glad to be doing these videos for you, bringing you great content, and delivering you an all-in-one place to come and learn about how to become a project management professional. In today's video, we'll be following up with our last, going through after you got approved, after you got it scheduled. Okay, now what? Now is the time to study. Now is the time to start looking at the books and software, material, study aids that you'll be utilizing as you go through. You don't want to start studying and then switch from book to book. You don't want to start studying and then stop looking at this one thing to go and find another tool that's going to help you. You want to have it all laid out for you at once, so you know what the plan is and you go in with the solid foundation of what to study, what material to cover, and guess what? We're going to be doing that in this video today. So with that being said, what books should you get? First off, right off the bat, let's go ahead and go to Amazon.com and let's search for the PMBOK guide. We want the 4th edition this year, since it's 2011 still. Now next year they're supposed to come out with a new edition of the PMBOK guide sometime in the middle of the year. So depending on where you are, you might want the 4th edition or you might want that 5th edition. Right now we're going to talk about the 4th edition since that's what's being currently used. As you can see here, you can get it as brand new as low as $33, right? You can get it as much as $65. The PMBOK guide is essential to your study. I can't stress that enough. It is essential to your study for the project management professional certification. It's where I'd say 75% of the material on the exam is going to come from. Okay, now there's going to be some things coming outside of the exam, or coming from the exam, that are going to come outside of the PMBOK guide. Talking about quality management gurus such as Deming, Duran, Crosby, those type of things. A project manager's authority, what types of powers a project manager possesses. All those different types of things are going to come into play outside of the PMBOK guide. And I'm going to show you where to find that material as well. But first, let's start with the PMBOK guide. So this document you're going to need. So this book, you're definitely going to need it in order to be successful, because you're going to need to understand the language that the exam is going to speak. And that comes directly from the PMBOK guide. Now you're going to need a supplemental book that guides you through the PMBOK and really digs in and brings some things out that the PMBOK itself doesn't do. Okay, remember the PMBOK guide in itself is just a framework. Okay, but the exam is going to test you on also your project management knowledge within that framework. Okay, so you're going to need some guidance in that reading of the book, the PMBOK guide. So to start us off, we know now we need the PMBOK guide. We can clearly see on Amazon.com how much it costs. Let's take a look at the top 3 books in my experience and dealing with other people that have taken an exam that they've chosen. And I think these are 3 solid books, and they each have their different pros and cons. My personal favorite is the Head First PMP 2nd edition. And the reason why I like this one so much is really because of the way it approaches learning. The other 2 books, which I'm going to cover in a moment, is the Andy Crow book, okay, the Rita Mulcahy book as well. Those are different in the way they approach learning. But I really like the PMP or the Head First PMP Second Edition. This one just seemed to kind of get my humor and making things fun. It's by Jennifer Green and Andrew Stellman, both PMPs. You'll be able to find this book on Amazon.com at the lowest price point out of any of these three books. I've seen it for as low as $41.99. Okay, so let's just breeze through very quickly and take a look at this book. And anyone can do this. You can go to Google Books. I think it's one of the best resources there is. If you don't have the funds, or you're not sure what book you want to go through, go to Google Books, look up this book. It allows you to preview the content and see what's available in the book. So here, it starts off really just talking about why you should get certified, how things fit together, and so forth. And it even goes on to talk about the psychology behind learning and its approaches to utilize humor to help you remember the information, and so forth. And I'll let you go through that on your own. But I really enjoyed this book, and I have it myself. Actually, I have this one and the Rita Mulcahy book. I did not get the Andy Crow simply because I got the Rita in this book already. And as you see here, they try to do pictures that will draw your memory when you need it. Do little examples like just this here, this little image, crossing out a calendar, showing you a little funnel for inputs. Those kind of things just help to train your mind to think in the way that you need to when going through this exam. The next book that I want to discuss is the Rita Mulcahy book. Again, this was the book that I also obtained. Now, the Rita Mulcahy book comes from a different perspective. Some people say that Rita has a very strong opinion in her book, and sometimes a little too much. The Rita book is really straightforward. She does give you some great tips and tools, and has you cut out some things and sort out inputs, tools, and techniques, and try to play a matching game. Things like that can be found in her book. She, at the end of every chapter, just like the Head First book does, she has exam questions at the end of each chapter, which you should go through. She has little exercises, as well as the Head First PMP book, and the Andy Crow book does as well. And I'll kind of go through that a little bit. Unfortunately, for this edition of the PMP exam, you can't see the inside of this one. But you can go to any library, any bookstore, and take a look at it. I think if you go with any of these books, you'll be able to be successful in taking the exam. But if you had the opportunity to choose between one of the three, then choose the one that draws you the most. Because you want it to be not just a learning experience, but you kind of want it to be fun as well. And you can come here and see some of the reviews. 5 stars, 4 stars. Got a few 3, 2, 1s, but absolutely, it is a good book. And then the Andy Crow book. You can see here for a price point of $50.63. Now, I found the Rita book to typically be the one that's the most expensive. I've seen the price points for all three books, starting with the Rita book being at $62.37, the Andy Crow book being $50.63, and the Head First PMP book being, again, that price point of $41.99. Now, keep in mind that Rita does update her books quite often. She's already on her 6th edition, moving on to the 7th edition, which I believe is already out. And so you're going to want to always stick with the latest, because the latest is always going to be in accordance and in alignment with the PMBOK and the latest versions of the exam. So let's go ahead and take a look inside the 4th edition of Andy Crow's PMP the PMP exam, how to pass on your first try. That's actually what I'm going to be showing you as well. So it might even be a nice pair for this. So just looking at the chapter 3, talking about the process framework, the 5 process groups you're going to need to learn and memorize, the integration management, discussing the philosophy. Chapter 5 goes into scope management and so forth, down the different knowledge areas. And each of these books does an awesome job of aligning themselves page by, I won't say page by page, but chapter by chapter with the PMBOK guide. In the same way, in chapter 3, you're talking about process framework. In chapter 3 of the PMBOK guide, you're going to be talking about process framework. And so, all 3 of these books really does a great job of aligning themselves with the PMBOK guide. Now that we've got the books out the way, a lot of people wonder about software. So Rita has her own version of software out. A number of companies produce their own software. Now here's the thing. Software can be great if you have the money and you honestly want to blow it. Because these study guide exams that are software versions of them, you can find questions all over the net for free. The one benefit, though, of going with a software-based exam software or prep software is that you can see your score and track your score a bit easier than you could if you did paper-based or free exams over the internet. But honestly, if you just take the time, you can do that as well with those. I'm going to give you guys so many links to different free exams. You're going to be so shocked. You go onto Google and just type in PMP exam software. You're going to get things like PMP Exam Simulator, Rita's PM Fast Track, PMP software, PMP Exam software, and they're going to charge you, and it's going to cost you. And why do that when you can get, 1,500 questions for free, when you can get 3,000 questions for free? And I'll show you how and where to find those. Also, there's a lot of good stuff out there that people that are PMPs have produced that is totally free. For instance, this is a great nugget. If you do want to memorize what is called the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs that relate to each of the specific 42 processes, in the PMBOK guide on page 43, I believe it is, there's a free software that was developed by a PMP. It's called ITO, or Input, Tools, and Techniques, Outputs Trainer. Now this is a gem, okay? As you see, I've already gone to it before. Click on it. It takes you to this gentleman's blog page, and then you just click here to launch PMP exam, and go to Start Now. And right here you can see for the following, it says the following stakeholder register, stakeholder management strategy present the, is it an input, is it a tool and technique, is it an output? And you come here and you can choose, okay, which process that those that the stakeholder register and the stakeholder management strategy, which are they? Are they input, tool and technique, or output, and of which process group? So and then it times you up here. You don't have all day to take it, but basically you just come here, choose something. For instance, I just choose something, and then click check your answer, and it says you did not answer completely, so you got to answer completely. and it tells you answered wrong, so you got to go back and say, okay, let's just call these inputs, okay, just for the sake of time here. Create work breakdown structure. Check your answer. It says you did not answer completely. The answer was, and it gives you the answer, and so it allows you to test yourself on the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs for the 42 processes. And guess what? Best of all, it's completely free. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing you guys more gems like this as we go through to save you, again, saving you time, saving you money, while fast tracking you to getting your PMP certification. That's what this program, PM Theory, and its video series is all about. Alright, so backing up here to the PMBOK guide, where do you begin with this book? Is it a book that you read cover to cover? Do you read certain chapters first? This is what I strongly suggest, is that you begin at chapter 1. And you read through each chapter in correspondence to your PMP exam prep book of choice. So whether that's the Head First PMP, whether that's Rita Mulcahy's PMP Exam Prep, or Annie Crow, the PMP Exam How to Pass on Your First Try, I really suggest, I just ran out of time there, I really suggest that you try one of those, and you go chapter by chapter, each one. So for the PMBOK guide, you read chapter 1, you go to Andy Crow's, or you go to Head First, or you go to Rita's and you read chapter 1. And you go through the whole book just like that. And you should be able to get through, if you really focus and you dedicate an hour or two each day, or of just reading, you should be able to go through that in about 3.5, 4 weeks. One of the things that some people do is they'll take 3 days and just cram it. And if that's what you want to do and you can do that, then that's great. And the faster, honestly, you can get through the book, that's great, because you are going to have to go back and refer to it, and you're going to utilize it as you take exams, practice exams, that is. And you go through. But you definitely want to go through chapter by chapter reading the PMBOK guide alongside your prep book for the PMP exam. Each book has quizzes and side homework that you can do, and maybe even some crossword puzzles and things like that. Don't look at those things as trivial. Those things are designed to help you succeed in passing the PMP exam and helping the material that you read and you comprehend to stick and stay in your memory, because you're going to need to draw upon that memory for a vast bit of material during the exam. You don't know where these questions are going to come from and how many you're going to have. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining me on how to pass the PMPExam.com. This is Jaquay Howes, Certified Project Management Professional. It's been fun, and see you on the next video.